Hello, my name is Firesight, and welcome back to another episode in my Did You Play series, where I sit here and tell you guys all about the thoughts and stories about games I played in the past. Today, we'll be taking a look at one of my favorite DS games called Bleach Dark Souls, and by extension, The Blade of Fate as well. So, as usual, how these videos go, I'll start off with some brief information about the game, and then my unscripted thoughts later. Hope you enjoy the video, and let's get started. So, Bleach Dark Souls is actually the second Bleach game to come out in the DS, released over here in America on October 7, 2008. It's the follow-up to the first Bleach game called Bleach The Blade of Fate, which came out a year prior to Dark Souls in 2007. Both are 2D fighting games with a unique lane switch mechanic that allows anyone to jump between the first and second lane while in battle, allowing for a more dynamic flow of fighting than your typical 2D fighter. The gameplay is rather simple, as you can get your standard health bars and move combos that allow you to use a number of abilities. The combos are easy to execute, so anyone can pick it up, as well as having abilities tied to specific buttons mapped to the touchpad in case you're feeling a little lazy like I am. Speaking of the touchscreen, let's talk about the section to the left being where you have your deck. Basically, these cards give various effects like invisibility, health recovery, added ice damage, restricted line jump, etc. and so forth, allowing for even more diverse gameplay and chaos. You can build these however you want the deck in a deck editor to fit your own playstyle. In regards to the story in the first game, The Blade of Fate, it's a summary of the Soul Society arc that follows Ichigo and his quest to save Rukia from being executed. As for Dark Souls, this is a non-canon story that takes place right after Aizen leaves Soul Society, where a festival for some reason is being held in which Ichigo and his friends attend before heading back to the world of the living. Long story short, some special mod souls, the thing that Kon is, are uncovered, they start turning into hollows, and Ichigo and the game must defeat them. Besides the story, Dark Souls also increased the roster from 27 to 44, with 17 new characters added to the roster, like my boy Urahara and my girl Rangiku, as well as even allowing you to play as Hollows, unlike the first game. The only disappointing thing I will say is that Rukia is only able to fight in her Giga form, and not for her Soul Reaper form, but that's simply due to the story canon, since she hasn't gotten her powers back until the Wake of Muno arc. All in all, both games received favorable reviews, both receiving scores of Metacritic in the 80s, as well as having IGN Best Fighting Game Award in 2007 with The Blade of Fate, and in 2008 with Dark Souls. And with the information section done, we'll move on to my unscripted section with me just telling you about my overall experience with the game. Now we're basically in my unscripted section, so this is basically where I talk about everything off the game off the top of my head. So any or ifs about that, sorry about it in advance. So I want to start out talking about my man Ichigo here. He was my main in the game when we were playing when I was younger, and he's pretty much broken, at least from my eyes, at least from me and my brother and my cousin B. That's Turtle basically. So like Ichigo is like the type of character that is fast paced and has a lot of quick attacks, and basically his Bankai was pretty much broken in the game. He's one of the few people who had like a transformation Bankai, because that's what he has in the anime, and all his attacks get more powerful, whatever. His Gezuka gets more powerful. He has this blast that he doesn't really do in the game, in the anime. It's like a pillar blast, whatever. And then he throws rocks or whatever. But basically, Ichigo was pretty good. He was the main person I used when I was playing the game. My brother, he used Hisagaya. Now Hisagaya was annoying. So with Hisagaya, the way they designed him in the game was that he will use his ice attacks to either skate around, interfere with people's attacks or whatever. And my brother, once he learned Hisagaya's slide attack, it's this very annoying slide attack he does. That's all he did throughout the game, throughout the match. When me and D, he would just slide in and out every time. And then he had this thing that's like this boomerang attack with the ice. So he'll use the boomerang attack and then slide again. It was so annoying. Then his Bankai wasn't the best, so he rarely used it. But basically, it makes like 3 little ice flowers, you know how his guy has in the anime, before he can control it, whatever. So he will use it most of the time, sometimes, depending on what situation. Most of the time it's just him sliding underneath everybody. Then who D used, he used basically Mayuri. Now the thing about Mayuri you guys gotta understand is that Mayuri is an annoying character, more annoying than Hisagaya, because he has his lieutenant Nemu with him. The thing about Neville is that she basically fights with Mayuri, so they're basically kind of like, Conqueror's puppet from the Storm series, basically like that. Basically, the puppet will attack, while Mayuri can also attack too. So, that means she's like a doll, whatever. But
The thing about Nemu is she will attack, and D will be sitting in the back watching everything, and then then she explodes on you, doing damage. So you kind of imagine having to fight in the four in a free for all match. You have me, you have Nick, you have D assistant, and then you have the computer because most of the time it's just us three playing. So that was basically five characters out there fighting, and one of them was tag teaming most of the time. So basically, a situation happened where it was kind of like me and Nick got together. We was like, okay, let's just take Nemu out first. One of us has to sacrifice a few life points or whatever, right? In order to get rid of her. And once you got rid of her, Mayuri is pretty much just another standard character. The thing was, is that he had this annoying stomp ability or whatever. That when he grabs you, or whatever, and he'll stomp you continuously. So people could just sit back and watch you get stomped while Mayuri just over there stomping you like crazy. It was entirely annoying. What else? I think honestly, most of the time most of the time it was pretty even match. We didn't use a lot of the cards. We didn't really use a lot of the cards most of the time. We was basically using most of the abilities. Uh, then there's one character named Aizen. You've probably heard of him, you know, crazy Soul Reaper guy. You know, almost wanted to take over the Soul Society, tried to take the Soul King, whatever. His thing is that he was almost one of the other broken characters in the game. There's like only like I want to say Ichigo, Aizen, uh maybe Kenpachi kind of. He was kind of broken, sort of. I want to say Miuri kind of broken, depending. Yeah, Miuri is kind of broken. His guy was annoying, and then Yamato was kind of annoying, but we'll get to those later. But Aizen, back to Aizen. Now the thing about Aizen was he had a lot of Byakuya he's out kind of broken. But anyway, Aizen was kind of like the guy who used a lot of spells, Keto, uh, for most of his attacks. Most of the attacks were just Keto because this is Aizen before he broke the glasses, slicked his hair back or whatever. But this is because this game is like super old. So this was Aizen pre pre Wake Mundo. Anyway, Aizen thing was he used a lot of electricity spells, fire spells. Uh, he had this black box that he used basically as a spell. So since he didn't, since they, cause, since they had to make up stuff for the game, for the characters, whatever, that's what they gave him. Then they gave him this, his release was his Bankai, quote unquote, since they didn't have a lot of they didn't know about people's Bankais and stuff like that. So his Bankai was, or his level C, whatever, was that he'll make a copy of himself that can do the spells while you do the spell. So you're basically fighting two Aizen at the same time. That was completely broken at that point in time in the game. Because you would do, I don't know, you could do an electricity spell while doing a fire spell. You know what I'm saying? It was just annoying. Having to do that in a free for all situation, or if you was on tag team or whatever. So you're basically fighting either three people, or you're basically fighting two people at the same time. It was an entirely annoying thing to do. But I loved it. I mostly used it. Nick kind of for his second character, he probably used Tosin, I think. Tosin, like I said, this is pre Fuego Mundo, so they had to make stuff up. So Tosin had he had like cutting abilities, not Kenpachi's cut, but it's like he can make like sword strikes or whatever. I don't remember too much often, but it was like kind of like he can do like super slashes or whatever. It was a weird. I don't remember him doing that even in anime because Tosin barely fought, became a bug or whatever. That was kind of stupid, but. His Bankai or his Bleach was like he made everything black, so you couldn't see where you were going. So basically, it was just me guard. Half the time it was just me D just guarding. Cause I think Nick would just use Tosan. And I would just be me him just guarding half the time before he would attack us. And then who did D use besides Miuri? I think he used I don't know. I don't know who D used besides Miuri. He can probably tell you if you listen to this below in the comments or whatever. Because I don't remember who else he used because it's been a long time since we played the game. But I know he definitely used Miuri a lot. Did he try to use Uryu? Probably not. He probably didn't care. He probably didn't like the archery. But yeah, honestly, my overall experience with the game was pretty fun. That was kind of like our main DS game when we was growing up. but me, Nick, and D. Like that was like the game we played every time I went over D's house. That's the game that I always had to bring. That's the game we always end up defaulting to playing half the time. Either in the car or whatever. I'm at my house or whatever. That's like that was the game to play. It was crazy. If only we had like a fourth person in our group, our family group or whatever. We actually played, so we had 4 people, but you know, most of the time it was just me, Nick, and D playing most of these games I'm gonna be talking about. But other than that, I really enjoyed the game. This was probably my favorite DS game uh, that I remember playing growing up. This is probably one of my favorite DS games. I won't say my top favorite DS game, but this was definitely on the list of DS games that I kind of wish would get a remake somehow, some way. I don't know how they would do it. Kind of probably keep it like this. Probably it'll just be like kind of like you know DBZ fighters kind of type of style, but do it like the 2-lane system and everything. But yeah, this was probably my favorite game overall to play, besides Pokemon growing up or whatever. But honestly, very fun game. If you guys ever get in a situation where you can emulate it, I would say emulate it somehow. There is a way you can kind of fight online, but it's kind of rinky dink. Me and Nick tried it a few days ago as recording this video, but it was just not working. So I was like, yeah, just screw it. But yeah, it works locally though. So if you have someone with you in the same room as you, you know, you hop on him, you plug up like 2, 3 controllers, whatever. Y'all can just play on the same screen. That was fine. It's just when you try to do like from my computer to D's computer all the way to where he's living at right now. So it will be wonky. Probably wouldn't work. But yeah, if you have in the same room, or whatever, it works just fine. So I gotta get one of these days if I gotta get Nick and D's to play. If we somehow can get a whole computer system in one of our rooms to play together, we gotta play it. But other than that, yeah, I really like the game. I really enjoyed the game. I had a fun time experiencing it. Most of the characters are pretty cool. Basically, if you play the game, you basically figure out that most of the characters aren't uh, a good representation of what they are now. like like I said, Tosin doesn't do nearly half the stuff he did in the anime. Aizen is a weird one because he barely really did half the stuff he did in the anime. Uh, they got who else? They had what do you call it? Genju's whatever. You know the guy who do the firecracker. His sister's in the game. Uh, I don't know. She does fireworks, whatever. So it's a lot of characters. It's a lot of bloated characters in the game just to make the roster bigger. They have a mental grinder you can play as. So at that point it was a make it up. They have Don Quixote in the game. So it was just anybody at that point. But yeah. Oh, now I know. Before I go to my conclusion, Soifan and Yororichi were fun to play. Uh, your Soifan had this like this double, you know, her double hit with her butterfly. I think we never really got the chance to use most of it, but that was fun. She was fun playing Yororichi was fun to play with her Shuko. For her, you know, with the electricity stuff. That was pretty cool. And then although then yeah, that's about it really, honestly. And then I would say the field they had different color palettes. They had different fields and everything. So it was pretty. Yeah, it was pretty like a well polished game. I think it got like a good, like I said, it got a good score on IGN and everything. So it was a really good polished game. I kind of really wish they kind of kept going forward with the game, uh, instead of kind of dropping it after two games. This is definitely a game. This is definitely a Bleach fighting game that could have easily been the fight, you know, DBZ fighters type of game. But you know, it is what it is. But overall, like I said, fun game, cool game. If you get a chance to emulate it, emulate it. Have a go at it, and I'll see y'all in the conclusion. Thanks.
Overall, this game still remains one of my favorite DS games to play, and I would actually love to see it return someday on a console. I think it would be pretty cool to have the current Bleach played in 2D format, and get the Arc system treatment like how Dragon Ball FighterZ did, and you see how profitable that was. One can only hope though, since it's kind of the revival of Bleach thanks to the 1000-year Blood War anime, in the Breath from Hell chapter. Look, Bleach fans were left starving after the anime ended in 2012, and the manga 2016, with no exclusive Bleach game unless you want to count the mobile game Bleach Brave Souls. I see no reason why Shonen Jump wouldn't want to capitalize on one of their most recognizable properties now that anime has a wider audience than back in the 2010s. So did you play Bleach Dark Souls or Blade of Fate by extension? Let me know in the comments below. Thank you for watching, and don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe on your way out, and I'll see you all in the next video. Later.